Welcome, everyone. This is Franco.
And this is Shannon.
And welcome to Dorian Destinations podcast. This is our first ever passport profile format for Dorian Destinations. And we couldn't ask for a better guest, a better profile than our friend across the pond here. And we're going to introduce him now. But we just wanted to say that and just remind you that we are your friendly hood travel advisors, and we're not influencers, we're travel advisors. So anything you hear today, we can book and for you, and we could create the ultimate Amsterdam and Netherlands experience. So this is not just informative, this is actually inspirational for you to book.
All right, let's get this going.
Let's get this going.
All right.
Steven, introduce yourself, please.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here also in the first show. So I'm feeling now a little guinea pig. So it's good to be here. It's good to be here. Yeah, my name is Stefan. I'm living in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and I have my own tour company. I've been tour guiding a lot myself, and I now have a team of guides working for me to show Amsterdam, but not only Amsterdam, but also the Netherlands. And I've been doing that now since, 2017? So that's about 9 years, although there were 2 COVID years. So I'm saying 7 years in total. And I'm really excited to tell you a little more, of course, about my country, about the city where I'm living, and also to be the first person in your podcast.
I know. And honestly, it's a big honor because when we met you in Venice in the...
No, we met him in...
Vienna, sorry.
In Vienna.
It's
Vienna.
the beer.
That's right.
It's the beer stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was the beer. Okay, yeah. I have some here myself, too.
Okay,
so.
good. Because remember, we're going to cheers and we're going to... but yeah, we met you there, and it was just... You were just so amazing. You gave us so much knowledge about your country and your city, and you could tell that you have the passion that we have for travel. And I think, I know that our clients are going to love to experience your country and your city with you. So we're excited.
So I do want to say, travel agents cannot do what we do on our own. And so we work with a million suppliers. And this is a perfect example of a travel agent and supplier relationship. So when you book with us and we're like, oh, I got the best tour, we have our little Rolodex and we know who to reach out in each country or in each city that can help us plan the amazing trips for you guys. So so this is great that you guys can see behind the scenes what a relationship is between supplier and travel agent. So let's get this going.
Yeah, let's go. Right. I'm excited. All right. So I think this segment that we're going to segue into really is more about you, your love for your country and your city. So I think we're going to, kind of toss it to you, Stefan, and tell us, what is it about your town, your country that you love so much?
Yeah, that's an easy question, but the answer for that is already hard because it's, I'm born and raised in the Netherlands, so I'm Dutch, what we say. And I even have a beer over here. Look at it. This is, by the way, an American beer from New Holland. It's from Michigan. Because at this moment I'm in Michigan, so but I thought at least I'm prepared. No, so I've been living my whole life, born and raised from the cities of Gouda and in Del. I've been living in Delft, in Rotterdam, and now in Amsterdam. And it is one of the smallest countries in the world. So just to give you an idea, if you go from up north to south, it's 200 miles. And from east to west, it is about 100 miles. So, and then, or you will be in Belgium, or you will be in Germany. So it is a very tiny country, but at the same time with a lot that you can see and a lot to do. And I've been living in several parts of it, and I love it to show people around, the cities, the culture, the art. The nature, because it has a lot on this small part of the world.
That's amazing. And I know you mentioned that transportation there, it's just like, it's all bikes, right? Like it's all
bikes. Yeah. I even.
So you have to have a good cardio to get around, huh?
Look at my cyclist. Yeah. I have. Yeah. So we are basically, I think, in my situation, just to give you an idea, I was 2 years old when I got my first bicycle. So that's still then the one without the pedals. It's just to get your balance. And then I think when I was 3 or 4 years old, my parents were already taking me on my own bike into the traffic. So because for us, it is our main form of transportation. So we just go everywhere. We go to school, we go to the supermarket, we go to work, we go to friends, to a bar, name it, and you're doing that on a bicycle. So, and that's always
That's
interesting
amazing.
because I'm now here in the US at this moment, and then I'm seeing that everything is basically built for cars. Now the same is in the
Hmm.
Netherlands, only we build everything for bicycles. So if you come the first time, that can feel a little crazy because even more in like a bigger cities like Amsterdam, then it's like going on and on and on and on because it's heavy traffic because we're all using it.
That's great. That's
So
so there. I'm assuming there's. I mean, is there still Ubers and things like that, or is it just
of
strictly
course,
just bikes?
yeah, of
Okay,
course,
okay, okay.
of course we have, but just also then and also related to my job. So a lot of people are coming to Amsterdam and then asking me like, okay, I want to do a tour of Amsterdam, and do you have a driving tour? And then I'm saying like, yeah, we have a driving tour, but that's not really working because big parts
Hmm.
of the city center are closed for cars now. So you can walk, you can cycle, but you cannot come there by car. Or
Yeah,
if you try to do it, it will take 3 times longer than go on a bicycle. So yeah, if you dare take a bike to really see Amsterdam, but otherwise it's also walking. But yeah, of course we have
that's
cars, but
amazing.
not as much, and also most of them are quite small.
Huh.
Nice. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, how is it living in a historical town?
It, it is it is lovely, and then the interesting thing is that I only started realizing that the first time I moved to Amsterdam, I think 16 years ago, and then the first year it's like, wow, this is so beautiful. You see the canals and everything, and all the other highlights that you know before just from visiting it now and then. But then after a year, you're getting used to it. You're like, yeah, canal. And the interesting thing is, when I started tour guiding in 2017, that was also the moment that the love for my city came back because I'm taking people with me and they're like, wow, look how cool this drawbridge is over here. Look how beautiful this canal is. And I thought like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Because after a while, you don't see it. You
You
don't
get
see it anymore.
desensitized. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly, exactly. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in a way I'm really grateful for all people that are coming to Amsterdam that I can take around because they gave me back the love for my city. So thank you guys.
That's a great
I love
soundbite. I
that.
love that. I love that. You did mention to us in our pre-interview that Amsterdam has 187 nationalities.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's a very international town, and to be honest, it always has been. So we have to go back hundreds of years. It's always been a town, a harbor town, where people from all over the world were coming to trade, just traders, merchants, and everything. So we are quite used already a long time ago to see people that are speaking other languages, people that are having different religions, are looking different, different backgrounds, name it. And it all came together. And yeah, Amsterdam is sort of a melting pot nowadays. And that's one of the reasons why I love it. And that's also at the same time, for people who are traveling, it's easy because the Dutch are on the highest level of speaking English in Europe. So
Really? Wow, that's a
if
great
you
note.
come to the Netherlands, it's quite easy.
Let me ask you, because since you're in between Germany and Belgium, and I spent
Yeah,
a lot of time in Belgium, and I know they speak
yeah,
two languages there. They have Flemish and French. And then
yeah,
you're next to Germany where they speak German. What is the
yeah.
national language in your country?
In my country, we have our own language, and that's Dutch. It's
But
spoken by
nobody, do they have different like dialects? Like obviously, like,
even.
or is
Yeah,
it
yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah. I think we have about maybe 25 million people in the world speaking Dutch. About 80 million in the Netherlands, some in Belgium, and then yes, some in South Africa still, like the Afrikaans, the Afrikaner. That's still,
The Afrikaans,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's an old variation. But yeah, that is our main language. But yeah, with 25 million people, you do not come very far. So basically, from a very young age, they're teaching us different languages. So if you come to the Netherlands and people in the Netherlands, they speak, of course, Dutch. Almost everyone speaks on a high level English, but then we also speak German, a little bit of German and a little bit of French. So four
Amazing.
languages. I'm always saying I'm speaking 3.5. So my German is okay. My French is good enough to order a beer or wine or something like that, but not a lot more.
So we have the same French capabilities, I guess, because
We.
yeah, we. Well, you mentioned it's a harbor city, and I know
Yeah.
back in Vienna, you gave us some really interesting connections between,
New
our
York.
countries, right? United
Well,
States
mostly New York,
and
though.
mostly New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Could you touch upon that a little bit? Because I think that's an interesting.
Yeah, yeah, this all goes back to the 17th century when we were trading all over the world, when also the Dutch had several colonies, and we still have some colonies in the Caribbean, by the way. So
Yes.
Aruba, Bonaire, and Curaçao, that are still Dutch islands, but the rest all is not there anymore. But one of our most famous colonies, although it was only for 60 years, was New Amsterdam. So we were going to the west to try to find a new route to Asia, and then we were blocked basically, and founded a new colony over there called New Amsterdam. And after 60 years, the British took it over, and
No,
made
they
a
would
deal
never do
with.
something like that.
Yeah, we had some wars. We had some wars in between. We lost a war. They took over. We got to the country of Suriname return. So I think, yeah, it was not the best deal. It was not the best deal. But the interesting thing is that nowadays it is 400 years later, you can still find that Dutch tradition in the Dutch, a lot of Dutch names mainly in New York. So one of the most interesting examples is that the Dutch, when they came over there, they started naming neighborhoods after cities in the Netherlands. So if you're asking me, you're coming to the Netherlands, okay, you maybe know about Amsterdam, but there's a beautiful city. There's a beautiful city just west of the city, west of Amsterdam, 20 minutes by car or 15 minutes by train. And that city is called Haarlem. Haarlem. So not Harlem, but Haarlem, the real one. So if you go south, after like 40 minutes, you're coming in a little village. Yeah, it's not more than a village. And this village is called Breukelen. Breukelen. Now try to pronounce that as in English speaking, Breukelen.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Exactly. That became Brooklyn. So there are about 70 of these names that are in the end related to the Dutch. And I mean, I assume that the two of you have been in New York before. And
I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah, she was born and raised
I
from
didn't know.
Brooklyn.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, from Breukelen. Breukelen.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing. Okay,
The
then in
remake,
Brooklyn.
not the original. Not the original, the remake.
No, okay. Not that little village around the corner for me.
No.
No, but also, okay. And then the last example, when the Dutch were sailing into New York, then of course at that moment there was nothing over there. And before they were arriving at Manhattan, they were seeing on the side, they were seeing some land, and on that piece of land, they were seeing a lot of little animals jumping around. And they were naming that piece of land after the animals. So they were calling it Konijnen Island. Konijnen Island. And then
Konijnen
I'm asking
Island.
the two of you, Konijnen Island.
So another
So-
fun fact, not only am I from Brooklyn, but I'm from Coney Island.
Konijnen Island. And she's also a small thing that hops around from place to
Okay,
place.
okay.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
born in Coney Island.
Okay, but do you know what Coney means? Did you
No,
ever
but I-
realize what it means? It's
No.
a jumping animal. Okay.
I had no
this is-
idea.
This is so cool. This is so cool that you're born and raised it. Okay, the Dutch word konijn, that means rabbit. So we were calling it Rabbit Island, Konijnen Island. And then when the British took it over, they renamed it. Yeah, they still use the same name, Coney Island, but yeah, it's after the rabbit origin.
Wow, there you go, babe.
There
Now
we
you
go.
know the origin of your birth.
I'm a little rabbit.
I mean, that's a
Little
little weird
rabbit,
just saying
yeah.
that out loud. Yeah, but no, that's amazing. Thank you for all that information. I think that's one of the things that really stood out to me when we were talking, and I know our viewers are gonna enjoy that. And then
Mhm.
just the last thing that you mentioned that you love about your country and your town, how pragmatic you are, how liberal, you're still liberal in
Yeah.
comparison to, I guess, the rest of Europe, and you don't sugarcoat anything.
No,
That's pretty,
true.
yeah, that's
That's
pretty cool dynamic there.
I mean, I think with that last thing that we don't sugarcoat, I mean, some people are calling us rude, and we always say like, "Oh,
Really?
we're just direct." We just say what we think. We say what we think. And then the interesting thing is when I'm talking to people here in the US or with a lot of US guests, they were saying like, yeah, it's the directness a little from the people in New York. And then I was thinking like, okay, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. So
That's amazing, the connections.
yeah. Yeah, there are so many connections, and at the same time, is I'm a little going back before that very liberal way, what we have, liberal way of living. That's in the end also related to our history of the harbor town. So people from all over the world had to live together. So we're used to it. We're used to it. So basically, I can take you into Amsterdam, into the Jewish area, and there you see a synagogue that's built, and Jewish people were allowed to build a synagogue, and it was basically literally built next to the Catholic Church. So all these, and then of course we also had Reformed churches. So all of them were together, and that is something
That's amazing.
I'm very proud of, because there are not a lot of places, sadly enough, in the world where that is possible anymore.
Yes,
That's
agreed.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's So, Stefan, we're gonna quiz you now on your country, okay? Because I want to see
Okay.
how authentically Amsterdam you are.
Did you get this in your pre-interview?
Okay. That's I did not
Okay.
prepare this, so this time now
Okay. So okay, so this is truth or fiction, okay?
I want to do this.
I'm going to get, or both of us, we're gonna give you a statement, and you have to let us know if it's a truth or if it's fiction, okay? And then we'll let you know the correct answer with some research behind it. So
No pressure.
Okay.
good.
So, truth or fiction, Amsterdam has more canals than Venice.
Truth.
It does.
Yeah,
It's
you're
a
good.
truth. That's it.
You're good.
Yeah.
To say
Yeah.
I guessed it wrong, but this to me amazed me that it was over 1,500 bridges in Amsterdam, and it's more bridges with Venice and Paris combined. That you guys still have more bridges, so that is pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, we
they
even
call it the
run out-
Venice,
Yeah,
the Venice of the North.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah, we even run out of names for some of the bridges. So, but that's another story. We have 1,500.
All right. I like this one because I like money. So truth or fiction? Amsterdam was the world's 5th stock exchange ever.
Whoa, I don't even know that answer, to be honest.
Okay, well,
don't know. I
it
don't know.
wasn't. It's false. It's not. It wasn't the 5th stock exchange in the world. It was
the
the first stock
Oh,
exchange in the
that's-
world.
Yeah, although to be honest, I've been reading something about this recently, that we got the beurs, that's how it's called, originally from Belgium. So some historians are
Ooh.
now saying that and Belgium at that time was also the Netherlands. So the country is still
Got it.
right,
Ah,
but some people are saying like no, it's coming from Bruges, the city of Bruges, and Bruges
Oh,
was more
wow.
powerful before Amsterdam. So
They-
but to be honest,
Interesting.
I did read that literally last week, so that's really
Oh
how
my God.
funny.
Well, you know what? You kind of you threw it right back at us. I love it.
That's really interesting. All right, next one, truth or fiction? Amsterdam is home to the world's only cat sanctuary.
Floating cat.
Oh,
sanctuary.
floating cat
Floating.
sanctuary.
that's I think the truth.
You're right. You know what?
Yeah.
That's it. You passed the exam of being an authentic Amsterdamian. Yeah, it is true. It's called, and please help us pronounce this. De Pozenenboot. It's like Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boot.
Yeah. Okay. The Poesenbad. The Poesenbad.
The Puss in Boot.
Okay. Can I tell you a funny story about this?
Yeah.
Please.
About the Poesenbad. Yeah, not specifically at the Poesenbad. Okay. I started guiding in the Netherlands, and then so I sometimes have guests on my tours, and then on one of the tours I saw a cat, and I love animals. I really love animals, but I saw a cat, and the thing is that in Dutch the word for cat is poes. So poes. So that's how we're calling them. So we have the poesenboot, that's the cat boats basically. So what I saw the cat, and then in Dutch, you're normal to say like pussy, 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 pussy.
Oh my.
So that was, and then people say, "What are you saying right now?
What
Are
did
you
you
talking
say?
about other things?" No, I'm talking about the cat. I'm talking about the cat. So- But
Yeah,
yeah,
you could
we have
definitely
a we have
okay.
a cat.
Where are you right now? In Tennessee?
No, Michigan.
In
No,
Michigan. Don't say
Michigan.
pussy, 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 pussy.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, don't
No,
say
no.
yeah.
Yeah.
In Michigan.
True. You can cut this off the video if you want. So
No. This is like I said. We say we're also direct and unfiltered,
good.
but
I love it.
but that's amazing. Thank you for playing that game. You passed. So congrats.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
so we're gonna go to the this next segment, and this is the one that we talked about. How I really want. This is more. We're tossing it to you, and you mentioned that you want to talk about certain locations and treats, beautiful cities outside of Amsterdam, some Dutch treats, and the European way of traveling. So we're passing the mic to you. So please just give us all this information.
Okay, but feel free to interact, I think, or
Oh,
to
we will.
ask questions again. So because I mean, otherwise I will never stop. And no, it's the thing is, I said already before that I'm living in a small country, and most people only know about Amsterdam. They're saying, okay, we're going to Amsterdam, famous for the canals, famous for the red light district, famous for the cheese, and a lot of other things. But my recommendation for people, even more if you're coming the second time, or if you have a little longer time, is also to go outside of Amsterdam. Because just in 1 hour traveling, or by train or by car, there are 8 different medieval towns with a beautiful historical city center,
Wow.
most of them with canals. So, and the interesting thing is that all these cities, they're not as famous as Amsterdam, so there's also not so busy as Amsterdam. So, okay, the main tourist areas are in Amsterdam, but if you're going to these cities, and I'm talking about, for example, Delft, the city of the painter for Meer, I'm talking about Gouda, the city of the cheese. I'm talking about Alkmaar, another city of the cheese. I'm talking about Haarlem. We talked about that before a little bit. Utrecht, and several more, and they're all so nearby. And if you're going there, it is really the feeling of the old Dutch cities. So that's, I think, one of the things that I can always recommend people to. So, and then another thing is, one of the biggest questions from people that are coming to the Netherlands, they're saying like, okay, you're famous for the cheese, but you're also famous for flowers, especially for tulips. And it is just now May, the end of May. The tulip season is in April and May. So we have 8 weeks in the year when they are blooming, and the rest of the year not. But the whole year we're getting questions about like, okay, can we see the tulips? Can we see them? And like, no, that's not possible. That's only possible in a very short time of the year. So that's for us peak season. And then you have the fields. Yeah, you have the fields, you have the flower gardens, and a lot of other things. And the rest of the year, we have all kind of other flowers. But everyone is still coming for the tulips. Oh, there's so much more than that. So I think that would be my main thing. So look a little further than only Amsterdam. And I mean, I am in Amsterdam. I'm living there. I have been living there. I love the city, but there's so much more to see around. So that's I think one thing. And then of course,
I love that. But you said it's about a mile. Like, since it is a small country, and you said it's almost like a mile of like, do you recommend if I'm traveling, like, put the hub, let's say our hub in Amsterdam, and then venture out, like day trips, or
that's a possibility. So that's also what we are doing a lot with guests, just basically day trips. I mean, if you're going, let's say, to Italy or to Spain, then a lot of times it's like a tour that you maybe have a tour of 5 days. But no, for us, we can easily do day trips where you see one of the cities, sometimes even 2 of the cities, and then coming back in the evening to Amsterdam. But it can also be the other way around. You can also decide, okay, I don't want to stay in Amsterdam. I want to stay in one of these other cities. Also, then the hotel prices are a little lower. And then go from there, just one day trip to Amsterdam. So there are different possibilities for that. And but next to that, we also have like beautiful nature. We have the dunes, we have the lowlands, we have several bigger woods, and we even have some, we call it mountains. Southern part, 2 hours driving from Amsterdam. We have an area with mountains, and don't laugh when I'm saying the highest mountain over there is almost 1,000 feet high.
Listen, I'm not gonna judge because we're from Miami,
We
so
don't even have hills.
the only mountain we have is the trash mount that we have. We call it Mount Trash. So
Okay.
so that's 1,000 feet better than what we have.
So when I went to Amsterdam, since we were in Belgium, we just drove. I think it was like not even 2 hours, and we drove into Amsterdam. We spent the day there, and then fun fact: I can't get arrested for this, but we bought tulip bulbs.
Yeah.
And we mailed them to the States. We're not supposed to. So I mailed them to my brother who lives in Staten Island. And they were black tulips. But fun fact about tulips is that they grow, and then when it's cold, the bulbs stay in the ground and they regrow again. They go dormant. So they don't just like it's
so
not
they hibernate.
They hibernate and then they come back out again. So he had them for several years.
And if you're doing it good, so one of the things, if you're coming to the Netherlands, you have these tulip fields, and what they're doing is, and that's for a lot of people like, why are you guys doing that? Because what they're doing is they're literally cutting off the flower. They're beheading them. They're beheading them at the moment that they start to bloom. At the most beautiful moment, they're all beheading them, and they're doing that so all the energy of the flower is going back into the bulb to make the bulb stronger. And not only that, also every bulb is getting several childs, so about 6 of them. So the first year you have 1 bulb, the next year you have 7 of them, and then the year after. So that's also how you can grow. So your 1 black tulip can be the next year 7 ones, and then if you keep on doing that, after some years you maybe have 200.
Yeah, he had them for a while.
That's crazy.
Black tulips. So
that's a crazy.
But you need,
well, you know
course,
what they you know this.
You need a winter. You need a winter. That's the only thing.
He lives.
Well, he was in New York.
He was in New York, so it was great. That's why we sent it to him. And then he was like, "Okay, they're going dormant," and he'd get all excited, and then he would wait for them to grow the next.
You know, in Dutch, you know what statin means?
Tulips.
No, thief of tulips.
No. It's also a Dutch word, by the way. You're right.
Yeah, you see,
you're not even kidding. Yeah. True.
Well, Stefan, that was a great.
And then a little thing that's, it's also good to know that black tulip, that is something that we produced. It took flower farmers about 200 years to finally have a black tulip, because originally that color did not exist. So,
so what I did was pretty illegal.
No, that's for another reason. That's for another
reason. But they're
pretty cool.
But they're liberal and stuff. They're cool.
You work it okay.
They're cool.
True. For us, that's fine.
Oh, funny.
So, Stefan, that was a great segment. Thank you so much. I think you've defined what that segment needs to be, and the great part about it is that you are the person, and you will be the person for our clients to understand your country. So,
question: you mentioned the bikes. Do you do tours on bikes?
We are basically doing tours, walking, by car, by bike. Only the car, of course, not inside Amsterdam, but to other cities, yes. But a lot of bicycle tours too. So if people dare, of course, it is something different. We have helmets, although Dutch people never wear helmets, but for our guests, we have helmets available, and then we can go inside Amsterdam, or also to the countryside. So we have, for example, a quite popular tour now where we take people and to bring them to the windmills that are just north of Amsterdam. So that's like a 5-hour tour, and then you're going on an e-bike or an electrical bike with pedal assistance, and then seeing different windmills, the countryside. So it is beautiful. It's really it's really a
cool.
nice alternative.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
amazing.
No,
it's. And I mean also, if you have, we have a lot of families, for example, with teenager kids, and then asking me like, okay, do you have some activities, because they have so much energy, and then we're going cycling with them, or we're going cycling and then to an area where it is allowed to make graffiti. So then we're spraying some graffiti, make your own street art. So that kind of things.
That's awesome.
And we really love to see how we can. I mean, I've been in Miami now. I know Miami is quite famous for the street art.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot there, but in Amsterdam, yeah, we have areas where everyone is allowed, we're liberal again, where everyone is allowed to make their own street art. So we're taking people over there, mainly families, and then just make your own street art.
That's amazing. I love that.
That's pretty neat.
That is super amazing. Well, thank you again. Honestly, I can't wait for our clients to see your country with you. Now we're going to the last segment of our interview, unfortunately, because honestly, this has been fantastic. I couldn't have imagined a better launch to this franchise. So thank you so much. Okay, so we created a Dorian travel questionnaire. Okay, it's inspired by the Actors Studio. The last questionnaire they ask all the actors at the end, but we're doing it from a travel lens. Okay.
The first question is, what was the first trip that challenged you? Or no, that changed you. Sorry.
That changed me. Yeah, the thing is that my parents were already taking me at a very young age to all over Europe. I mean, the border is so nearby, so that's quite easy. And then the Dutch way of traveling is camping. So we're always going with the car, with our stuff, with all the food and things, and then bringing it down to southern France or to Switzerland or something like that. So my first first time that I remember was one of the holidays that we had in Switzerland, and the only thing that I know about it was the camping, and that there was lightning every night above the mountains, because that was something like whoa, every day at the end of a hot day we had always the thunder and the lightning far away. And I think I was 3 years old when I first.
How beautiful.
That's pretty nice.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a child to have that.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so what is one place, you kind of mentioned it, but what is one place that left a lasting mark on you?
I think if you talk about that, I've been traveling quite a lot, but the lasting mark, I think, is India. So if I
India?
have to do Dutch things, isn't it? Yeah, India. And because India, everything's extreme. It is, I think, the most beautiful place I've ever seen. It's also the most dirty place I've ever seen. It's the most busy place I've ever seen. It's also the most remote places that I've ever seen. Everything together in that country. So yeah, that's
Wow.
But
That's
yeah,
pretty
it's not.
amazing.
It's you have to be a little more. I would not go for my first trip outside of the US to India. So one recommendation. So it's a different world.
Another question is, what's your favorite word in another language and why?
Whoa,
It could be a
whoa,
curse
that's
word.
No, I always love the word imagination. I mean, yeah, I'm just using that an English word, because imagination, I can sometimes not imagine when I'm traveling what I will see or what I will experience. And I think that's also for me, and I know some, I think you're travel advisors, so you have people coming to you to ask you to see other things, to be open for other things. And yeah, I have a rich imagination, and I'm always trying to find places that are fitting in that imagination.
I love
Right.
that.
Yeah, I love that too. All right. So what is the most unforgettable meal you ever had while you were traveling?
For that, we have to go to Bangkok. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Bangkok in Thailand. And when I was there, you have these streets, full of little markets, and everyone is eating outside. I mean, there's little markets and little places, little vendors where you can get your stuff. And I still remember the first time that I was standing there in a line, and they had all kinds of things, but they had insects. So my first insects
Ooh.
that I was eating were on the markets in Thailand, in Bangkok. And
What
to be
insect
honest,
did you eat?
I mean, if you
don't
put any
even
kind of
know
seasoning on it,
anymore. It's just like chips. It's like crisps. That's it. It's not
Like
very
chips.
different from. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
brave. I would
And
not
a
do
little
that.
Yeah, I don't know- I
a little
don't know.
nutty. And to
A
be honest,
little
at
nutty.
that moment, yeah, a little nutty. Yeah, a little nutty. Yeah.
No, you're a little nutty for eating
Yeah,
insects.
also. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Although I'm now a vegetarian, so I would not do it anymore. But in that time, I still
Well, next question is, Yeah. Okay. Wait. Hold on. Did we just ask that?
No,
Oh, but
what's
I
a
asked.
moment that challenged?
Oh, what's a travel moment that challenged you?
Challenged me. Yeah, there's several ones. I have been thinking a little about these kind of things. So, what one moment I have to go back several years. I think I was 17 or 18 years old. It was one of the first times, and I was going with a group of friends to Paris. And in Paris, you have like the underground and the metro system. Um, and then one of the nights, it was late, and there had to been some drinking in the city, and in the Netherlands at that time, you could drink beer from 16 and up. It's now 18 and up, but from 16 and up. So we had been drinking some wines in Paris, and then went home to our hostel. I think it was a hostel, and then I forgot to step out of the metro. So my friends got out and they sort of forgot me. Yeah, we're a little drunk, etc. So
Oh my
I
god.
was still in that metro. And the next moment, I didn't know. The next moment, I was opening up my eyes and I was like, where am I? The lights were off and I was sort of at the end of the metro line. So where they have the metros for the night. So I was stuck over there, 17 years old. So I will never forget that. That's like, because I was getting into panic a little, like what is going to happen right now and where am I? And I don't know. And is it safe to go outside? Can I go outside of this metro? And in the end, I walked back to what I thought was the front part. And then I could open one of the windows. And I was very scared jumping outside that I would maybe jump on electricity or something like that. So, but then I jumped out and I started walking and I saw like several yards away, I saw some lights getting there. And then I was in the end, was there a guy that was cleaning the metros, seeing me, of course, not speaking any English at all, only French. Je parle un petit peu, speaking a little bit of French, but he sort of helped me to get away and to get to a taxi and to come home. But yeah, I will not forget that
Yeah, that's a
moment
challenge.
ending up. So that was, but yeah, 17 years old. So, and I think I never stopped traveling after that. I even loved it more.
Good.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And what is one sound or smell that instantly takes you back to a place? Don't say India.
That's interesting because no, not. I'm gonna take it. I'm doing it more home now. So
Got it.
I was growing up in the city of Gouda, famous for the cheese, but it's also famous for something else, and that something else is what we call the stroopwafel, and you guys are calling it stroopwafel. It's like a big waffle,
Yeah.
like a big waffle with sweet in the middle. And that is originally coming from Gouda. And to be honest, I was there 2 weeks ago, just before flying to the US. And I was there on the marketplace, beautiful marketplace. And I was literally smelling the real stroopwafels again. And that made me immediately think about, okay, I was growing up over here. So memories from my youth were coming back because I'm not eating that nowadays anymore. But when smelling a fresh one, I really thought like, okay, yes, that was
it. That's great. That's great.
All right. What's the next one is what is a hidden gem you wish more people knew about? Well, maybe not. Maybe he doesn't want to share the hidden
True.
gem, and then it's not a hidden gem anymore.
Okay. No, this is a good one, and I'm gonna rate this again to the Netherlands because we have been already in Paris and India and Bangkok. No, so there are a lot of people coming to the Netherlands, and okay, they want to see Amsterdam, and also what we're hearing a lot is people that say we want to go to Eethoorn. There's a little village in the northern part of the Netherlands, and that village is famous because it does not have roads. It only has waterways. So you're going with your boat. So it's a little like Venice. So it's maybe really the Venice of the north. But it's like a little village. It is quite beautiful. But the thing is, it is so overcrowded during the busy months that I'm always saying to people like, and it's very tiny. And it's like 1.5 to 2 hours by car and 2 hours back. So it's taking you half a day to come there. And then the village itself, after like 1.5 hours, you've seen it. So I'm always saying to people, no, join me. I have an alternative. And that alternative is 20 minutes away from Amsterdam. A little village called Broek in Waterland. It is very nearby. And the people in Broek in Waterland will not be happy that I'm telling that right now. But it has the same feeling. It has the same feeling. It has these waterways. You can go with a little electrical boat over the water. It has beautiful gardens. You really should Google the name of it, the name of it. So, and that's one of the hidden gems where I like to take people to, because there's nobody there. You're really the only one, and you see the old Dutch village and the beautiful water and a little church, and it's like Disney World a little, only then
Nice.
without the masses, without the masses.
So okay, so now we're almost done, but here's the last
Okay.
few questions. What do you always pack and why when you travel? What's one
What
thing
I,
that you always pack? Yeah.
what I'm always packing, and the interesting thing is, I came over here. One of the things that I brought, no, not tulips, no, not tulips, no, no, no. I brought some cheese. I brought some cheese. And to be honest, I'm always saying that I'm doing that for people that I'm meeting, because I'm meeting some people over here. But to be honest, it's also for myself, because I cannot miss that. I'm raised in that city, raised in the city of Gouda, so I cannot be without my cheese for too long. So almost all the time, I'm just packing a little piece of cheese in my luggage to
Nice.
have that on the way.
That's great.
So, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Yeah, I'm still searching. I'm still
There you
searching
go. I
because
like that
I got,
answer. Yeah,
I'm
I
still
like that.
searching. I don't know if it will be Miami, but I mean, I love your street art, but I miss the
I don't think
mountains.
Miami's
So
for us either.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Yeah,
we're
we're
with
on our
you.
way out.
okay. No,
Last
but it is
question.
it is. There's so many beautiful places in the world. So, and
Yeah.
my bucket list is like this, from the places I want to see. So, I will let you know if I decide what the best place is.
I love
Nice.
that.
We'll do a follow-up interview. Okay, so last question, and this is something that really it's important, I think, for others to hear.
Mhm.
What is your personal travel motto?
It's a very, and you were asking me before already. Can you tell me a little bit about the European way of traveling? So it's
Yeah.
related to that. So, and you have to know a little background. So, I'm living in the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands, we're used to have, by law, 20 vacation days. Next to that, we have 8 national holidays. And most jobs, you don't have 20, but you have 25 or 30 vacation days. But it means that we're used to go on holiday not a week, not 2 weeks. No, we're going a month or 5 weeks even sometimes. So I'm used to go for 5 weeks. And if you have 5 weeks time to go somewhere, that also means that you're slowing down, that you're coming somewhere and deciding like, okay, let's see if I like it. Let's see how it feels. If I like it, I'm staying longer. If I don't like it, I'm traveling somewhere else. So I'm trying to really feel the vibe of a place. And if I like the vibe, I stay a little longer. If I don't like it, I'm going to the next location. And I know that I'm now talking to an American public. For you guys, most of the time, you maybe have only a week. So, and then you have your long list with, say, your bucket list. We want to see at least these 20 things. But I'm still trying, even people traveling to the Netherlands, always trying to say like, okay, just calm down a little, relax a little, and take the time just to enjoy the food, enjoy the drinks, enjoy the vibe that you see, the people that you see on the street, instead of just going to this next thing. Okay, I took a picture of the Eiffel Tower, I took a picture of
Yeah.
Amsterdam, and then
Your
going on,
checklist.
because yeah, exactly. Just go a little more than on your checklist. Just calm down, relax a little, and take your time to really feel some places where you're going to.
I agree with that. I love when we rent a car, and we just go and we drive. And then even though we were going to another town, we're like, oh my God, let's pull into this town and have a quick drink or lunch. And
Yeah,
then we just get back in the
exactly.
car and go. And that's definitely the way that we like to travel. And when
And
people
that's
ask me
also,
like,
yeah, and
no,
also
I
also
get,
in sorry, in addition, I know it's good. In addition, I would also say, if people coming to Amsterdam, I'm saying a lot of times, like the first day, just get lost, just go walk around, get lost, feel the city. Not saying like I want to do these 3
Yeah.
museums and no, just get the feeling of the city first, and the people and the food, and then on the second day, I can take you around, of course.
love that. Thanks for that
That's the
advice.
best. That's a hell of a way to end this interview. So, Stefan, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I know that this, just like those tulip buds, we're gonna grow our friendship and our collaboration even more after this. I feel it. So everyone, please make sure you follow Stefan and All Aboard Stefan's Bike on TikTok. Follow him on YouTube. All Aboard Steven's Bike on Steven's Bike
YouTube.
on YouTube. You're gonna see it. I'll put the graphics down here.
And his website is amsterdamexperiences.nl.
Correct.
Yes.
So we're gonna put all that information out there so everybody can see it. Take a look and please, you have us here, Dorian Destinations, to work with Steven to make your Amsterdam and Netherlands experience the ultimate.
I love that. It was great talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be the first one in your show. So
Yes.
hopefully the next one will be even better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Steven, and we'll chat soon.
Bye.
Bye.